We are here today with Dave Schock, founder and director of the UFO Discovery Project, to learn about his efforts to advance the cause of disclosure in the UFO phenomenon. Welcome, Dave, and thank you for the opportunity to learn about your fascinating project.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
To begin, I would like to ask you to give us a brief introduction of yourself and your background.
Well, my name is David Schock, and I live in a little town named New Lebanon, so just a rock's throw west of Dayton, Ohio, close to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, as many know in the UFO world. And growing up around that, it kind of had me interested in UFOs my whole life.
Most people would be interested to know if you have had any personal UFO-related experiences.
Not whatsoever. I sure haven't. Apparently my mother and father did when I was younger, but I didn't even learn about that until after I had started this project, and my mom told me about it, but I have never seen a UFO. But science tells me that the possibility of life is out there, so it had me interested, and since science says it's a possibility, well, maybe there is some credibility to this issue of UFO.
Would you be able to explain why the effort of disclosure is so important to you, given you have not had personal experience?
You see so many credible people put their lives right out there. You know, you see military officers, politicians, scientists say that this has happened and that they're real, but yet you see them being squashed in the media. You know, you see a report, say on the news about UFOs, and at the very end, the reporter will laugh a little. You know, and that just, it's always aggravating me. I mean, could this be real? I just think it's time that we really put a real scientific investigation into this.
Mm-hmm. At the time of this interview, mid-November 2008, I understand that the organization is finalizing the process to be an authorized nonprofit. Please tell us how the process is coming along for your organization.
Well, the nonprofit is in place. We have filed all the papers on that. We have one more to file, and that's through an accounting firm that's going to handle that. And that's our Form 1023 with the IRS that gives us tax-exempt status. And we're still putting together the board members. We have 4 great board members so far, but we are looking for an astronomer or some sort of scientist to sit on board that will run our astronomy program. And we're looking also for a few other people, like someone in religious studies, a background in religious studies, because when this does break, if this is for real and this is found out to be really UFOs, there's going to be some implications throughout the whole world, and we need to look into all the aspects. We're looking for someone in sociology. So we're gradually getting it together. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get this thing up in the air.
Very good. According to the published data on the project's website, UFODPI.org, the project involves a satellite with a 2-tiered visual approach, a camera array, and an onboard telescope. Please explain how these technologies are to be used in the discovery effort.
Sure. What we're doing, we're placing a satellite in geostationary orbit, and that's around the 22,000 to 27,000 mile radius. It will be straight overhead at all times, straight up. Now, the cameras will be looking down towards the planet, but also the array of cameras that is there is going to be quite a few. They're going to be overlapping views. Keep going till it's pointing straight out to the side, so the massive, massive view of Earth and the surrounding space will be just a massive view. And our software will trigger an alert. If we have a bogey come in, we will focus our cameras towards that object, and at all times, no matter where an object could be coming in, we'll have at least 2 cameras and possibly 3 cameras actually on that area covering it in a stereoscopic type of view. Mm-hmm. Now that right there, we'll be able to get a good view, and then when we have that, we're going to swing the telescope around and get even better view with the small onboard telescope. Our telescope is not going to sit idle. We're going to conduct an astronomy program also, and we would like to have live links to educational institutes around the world so we could conduct live astronomy programs for educational purposes.
Besides the onboard telescope and cameras, the satellite's design includes a transmitter and receiver. which I understand from the website would be used in initial contact. Please explain the technology you propose for communication and how you imagine this contact might occur.
When we get an object coming in, we're going to try to identify if this looks like the real thing. We're going to have a directional antenna, and we will initiate contact through standard radio frequencies, but we're going to try to alternate. We'll have many frequencies that we can transmit on at the same time. A scientist out west, actually he's well known in the UFO field, David Sarita. I have spoken with him many times on the project as it has been growing over the past year. And he said he had some really good ideas on communication, different forms and ways to initiate contact through different radio frequencies. So we're going to try to utilize every little aspect we can to try to initiate contact. And if it does happen, we're going to try to invite him down for a landing and an actual first contact right there for live television for the whole world to see.
To the satellite itself, has it been given the go-ahead through the various governing channels for putting satellite in orbit?
Well, I looked into that because that was the big question. Are we really going to be allowed to do this? So I contacted a major manufacturer of satellites, and that's who I'm probably going to use. They're really helpful, and that individual I talked to really loved the idea. And I put to him exactly what I was looking for. He got back with me in about a week, and we went over what he came up with, and it looks good. And I asked him that same question, are we going to be allowed to do this? And he said it's no problem. Apparently, there is many privately owned satellites up there that we just don't even realize. Many ham operators have their own satellites, private scientists. It's amazing how many satellites are really up there privately owned. And he assures that it would be no problem at all. Now, there is one stipulation, and that's called Land Remote Sensing Act. It deals with, through the Department of Commerce, in a national security issue, they're allowed to shut down our visual part of the satellite in case of national security issues, maybe launching something that they don't want us to see at the time, you know. And that was really one of the only stipulations, is that right there, that according to him, he really said it wouldn't be much of a problem at all.
To prepare for this interview with you today, I spoke with various people, some professional and some not, to acquire a sense or a feel for the project through the eyes of others. Several logical concerns were voiced, which I would like to present to you today so that you might address these concerns. First and foremost was the concern for the receiving of millions of dollars for this project. Uppermost, people wonder what safeguards are in place and being taken to ensure the monies collected would indeed be applied to this project.
Yeah, I have an accounting firm that is going to handle all this. They assure me that it would be no problem in managing the money. It will be managed properly. And I know this is a lot of money. This, apparently, from what I understand, it's going to be close to around the $200 million mark. And yes, that is a lot of money to manage. That's why I've asked a firm to handle that part of it. So everything goes just perfect. So we don't have any problem, and people's money will be well taken care of.
Further, in regards to financial matters, is there a business plan and project proposal which formulates the cost of this project? Many felt the figure on the website was far too low in its estimation.